We're so excited. The story of the 1986 California Angels. In the weeks before the 1986 season began, it looked like all the sports and baseball journals were saying the same thing. The Angels are too old. They won't contend. They'll finish sixth. But the men on the field paid no attention to springtime speculation.
Preseason predictions are exactly what they are. They're just guesses. Somebody's got, is bored and has to come up with something to write about. If the people making those selections were such experts, they'd probably be inside the game rather than outside the game.
What they said in the, preseason means nothing. You got to go out there and play 162 games and try to do your best.
For the Angels, that effort to do their best began on April 8th, opening day in Seattle, as Bobby Grich started the season with a bang.
Here's Bobby Grich to lead things off in 1986. The first pitch of 86 is out of here. Bobby Grich starts it in grand fashion for the Angels, and everybody's out to greet him.
The Angels were starting clean as they began the year with one major change, adding a 23-year-old rookie to the starting lineup.
Second, number 21. First baseman, Wally Joyner.
Reaches out, pushes it right side, base hit, rounding third, heading home is Burleson. The ball game is tied.
This young man really looks for real, doesn't he?
Oh, Wally Joyner's for real, all right. Hitting for average, hitting for power. Joyner served notice in April to the baseball world that the Angels had a potent new weapon in their arsenal. Amid all the attention and excitement he created, Joyner was helped by the steadying influence of Reggie Jackson. Showing strength, Reggie and the rookie made a great 1-2 punch.
And here's Reggie, who's hit three. He hits this one deep to right. Well hit, going, it's gone. Back-to-back home runs by Joyner and Jackson, and the Angels have a 2-0 lead.
In '86, Reggie led by example as he adjusted his stroke and went to the opposite field when necessary to get the job done. And on April 30th, who was leading the league with a .420 batting average? None other than Reggie Jackson. Another superstart was enjoyed by Brian Downing, one of the Angels' most consistent players. With 25 RBIs in his first 23 games, Downing was up, and he would keep his production up all year long, driving in 95 runs, 13 of them game winners.
Swung on, and there's a drive. Hit way back left field. Manning looking, it's gone. A home run for Downing. And the Angels win it as the ball clears at the 368 mark out in left field.
For manager Gene Mauch and the Angels in 1986, late-inning homers and come-from-behind rallies were all part of the puzzle, parts that fell in piece by piece. It was a season of startling surprises, and the greatest of them all might well be called Angels Miracle Magic. On April 26th at the Metrodome in Minnesota, an example of that miracle magic was sent to the Angels in unlikely fashion. In this game, the Twins were romping, flexing their early season muscle at California's expense. With the Twins leading 6-1, the Angels were given a sign, and it came from the heavens at that. A thunderstorm with 60-mile-an-hour winds had ripped a hole in the roof of the Metrodome, delaying the game. And then the roof fell in on the Twins. In the ninth, George Hendrick blasted a 2-run home run, and so did Rupert Jones. The Twins led 6-5. Then it was time to visit Wally World.
Wally Joyner is the man of the hour for the Angels. There's Reggie at first base. He's the tying run. The Angels refusing to go quietly here tonight. Not quite over yet. They're on their feet, those remaining after the semi-collapse of the roof. So the fans have seen a lot of activity here tonight. The pitch to Joyner. Hit high in the air to right field, way back, it is gone! In the upper deck, and the Angels are on top. Wally Joyner hits a 2-run dinger, the third home run of the inning by the Angels, and the Angels lead this one now by a score of 7-6. Well, how about this for a ninth inning?
The 7-6 Angel win was a miracle indeed, and it helped California finish April with a 13-8 record. But the month of May proved to be another matter. The Angels were held down by a case of the blues as nagging hurts and frustrations started to mount. But fortunately, the Angels soon got a springtime pick-me-up from 23-year-old Dick Schofield. Already highly valued for his glove, Schofield showed the kind of form in May that would carry him through to career highs in runs, hits, home runs, and RBIs. Going on to belt 13 home runs, Schofield became the first Angel shortstop to reach double figures in that category since 1970.
You know, the more bats you get, the better you're going to get, hopefully. And the home run power, you know, it happens by mistake a lot of the time. You know, like a few years back, if someone made a mistake, I might not drive the ball. But, you know, now I'm waiting and trying to get my pitch and trying to hit it.
That kind of modesty also carries over to Schofield's play at short, which is now recognized throughout the major leagues as among the best.
I'm not a very flashy player, and I just try to do what I can, make the outs, and I think if you do that, things will come out well.
A big improvement by hard-charging Gary Pettis had California on the right track as well. In 1986, Pettis moved into first place on California's all-time stolen base list, but it was his work at the bat that really boosted the Angel effort. Unexpected as it was, Gary Pettis led the team in batting with men in scoring position, proving himself to be someone to count on in the clutch. And of course, as always, Gary Pettis was simply stellar in the field, making the kinds of Gold Glove plays that made him famous on television shows like This Week in Baseball.
I get a thrill out of making plays and seeing myself on TV, just like anyone else would have. I think, without a doubt, our defense has probably been the best in the league, and it could very well be the best in baseball.
That's certainly a widely shared sentiment, and one the Angels took a great deal of pride in proving. From the infield out, the California defense consistently refused to yield its ground. Among all the thrills, a major milestone in hitting was approached on the 11th of May.
Reggie trailing Mickey Mantle on the all-time home run list by 1. His next will tie Mantle, and he hits it deep. And this ball is gone. A home run for Reggie Jackson, number 536. And he ties Mickey Mantle.
3 days after tying the former Yankee great, Reggie marched on towards the inevitable as he faced Boston's Roger Clemens.
Long drive, center field, well back, and it's gone. And Reggie Jackson moves ahead of Mickey Mantle.
A short time afterwards, the event would be commemorated as Mickey Mantle himself joined the ceremony.
The greatest day in my life is today because I'm getting something from a boyhood idol, a dream that I'm living today. And I think that if I could have had my way, I would have liked to have been tied with him the rest of my career. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Mick.
In May, the Angels were either in first place or tied for first through the 23rd. But in Texas, Bobby Valentine's Rangers were gaining ground. And by the time the two clubs met in June, the Rangers were, in fact, on top in the West. A first confrontation was set for Anaheim. And though nobody knew it at the time, the stage was set for Angels Miracle Magic. On June 16th, Texas and California opened a 3-game series. For Gene Mauch, the early returns were not good. Working on a no-hitter in the 9th inning was Ranger starter Charlie Huff, and his knuckleball was dancing.
Got in! Inside corner! That's 1, 2 more to go.
Huff was protecting a 1-0 lead as well as his no-hitter, and he next worked to Jack Howell.
Fly ball, left side, long way to go, near the line. He dropped it, fair ball. And the runner is all the way to third, but it'll probably be scored an error.
It was scored an error, but Huff had to be more concerned with the next batter, Wally Joyner, who just happened to be celebrating his 24th birthday.
Base hit. The no-hitter is gone, and it's a tie game.
Huff had lost both the no-hitter and the shutout, yet the game was still at stake. Soon Joyner advanced to second on a pass ball. Another Angel reached first on a walk, and now with 2 outs, Huff had a full count on George Hendrick.
Here's the 3-2 again with the runners going. Got him, but it gets away. A play at first. Orlando will not throw it, and the run scores, and the Angels win on a strikeout. Nobody covered home.
Truly a sudden and stunning 2-1 miracle victory, and 2 days later, in the series finale, Don Sutton realized an achievement that was far longer in the making. With the Angels up 5-1 against Texas, Sutton stands on the threshold of history, pursuing a goal that took more than 20 seasons to accomplish.
He's 1 strike away from 300 victories. Gene Mauch happy because his team is about to sweep the first-place team in the American League West and move to within a half game of the lead. 1-2 the count to Gary Ward, 2 outs in the 9th. He went around, and it's over.
Becoming just the 19th pitcher to win 300, Don Sutton had a dream come true.
I guess when the season started, I knew if I could stay healthy, it was going to come. And it seems like that whole last inning, when I try to recapture it and recall it, I can't play it in actual speed. It's all in slow motion. And especially Gary Ward, the last pitches to him, every time I try to think it back and think it through, right up to Boone catching the ball, holding it, waving it, it was all slow motion. And then I guess just a flood of thoughts overcame me. Only when I was able to talk about it with people who were important to me did it really sink in that, hey, this is a pretty big mountain to be standing on top of.
When Sutton and the Angels descended upon Texas on June 23rd, the club was on a tear, having won 5 of its last 6. And that trend continued as the Orange County boys danced all over the Rangers. Closing out with a 1-hitter from Kirk McCaskill, California swept a 3-game series with Texas for the 2nd time in 10 days. Gene Mauch's ball club had moved back into first place in the West, thanks in part to one of the best armed staffs in baseball. And a big reason why was a former All-American hockey player by the name of Kirk McCaskill, who was only too glad to turn in his slap shot for a fastball when a decision had to be made between which of the 2 sports he wanted to play.
It was a long choice for me. I spent a year playing minor league hockey. I didn't enjoy it. And I just weighed the decision, which one I enjoyed better, and it came down to baseball. And that's what I wanted to pursue, so I came back.
And the Angels are glad he did. McCaskill would go on to post a 17-10 record in '86, earning respect in the big leagues, especially from those who knew him best.
Kirk's just got quality stuff and has learned since he's been in the big leagues, has gotten better and better because he's learned himself and he's learned what it takes to win, and he's learned it in a fairly short period of time. But you could see it. You can see that he has learned with each outing and gotten better and better.
One factor that's helped the second-year pitcher improve is a close-at-hand role model to look up to.
I think Mike Witt is the best pitcher in the American League, and I've thought that for a long time. And I kind of try to model myself after Mike, and I feel that if I can do, halfway as good as Mike is, then I'll be doing okay.
Okay, and then some. Through the 1986 season, Mike Witt continued to perfect his craft, and at the age of 26, the 6-year veteran delivered big.
Most people learn how to pitch in the minor leagues, and then you polish it up in the big leagues. But Mike has learned in the big leagues, and he's just got better and better. He's got a great curveball, and he's got an above-average fastball. And he's learning how to make pitches within the strike zone. Mike has the potential to be one of the best pitchers in this league.
Mike Witt has a chance to be one of the premier pitchers in all of baseball. And I think in the last year or so, he has really matured into a leader on a pitching staff and a guy who is going to be a closer for you and will give you not just a good effort, but a great effort every time out. And he's only going to get better.
Witt was on his way to a year in which he would notch an 18-10 record with a 2.84 ERA, third best in the league. But more than that, Witt gave the Angels what every team needs: consistency. His 269 innings and 14 complete games would both be among the league's top 5. And there's no doubt that Angel pitching commands respect with the likes of Witt and McCaskill.
We're all fortunate here with the Angels to have 2 like them. And most people try to figure out one man they want to build a pitching staff around. And I would take either one of those and start any pitching staff in baseball.
In mid-July, the Angels were in first place, and two who helped make that happen were in Houston for the All-Star game. Mike Witt was selected to the American League pitching staff, and he was joined by a new face, the first rookie to be voted a starting berth by the fans, a surprised Wally Joyner.
Well, I think surprise is maybe an understatement. I don't think anybody, including myself, knew what was in store for me this year, and it was a great honor. I had a great time at the All-Star game, and it was just for players to get together and to enjoy one game, and it doesn't matter if you're on the bench or if you're playing, just as long as you're there, that's all that matters.
That kind of humility, combined with outstanding talent, helped put Wally World on the map. In 1986, Wally Joyner made Wally World the place to be, as he exploded on the baseball scene while still keeping everything in perspective.
It's fitting here with Disneyland around the corner, Hollywood down the street. I don't mind it. It's something that if I continue to do well, then that'll keep going, and that will be maybe a sign to note if Wally Joyner is still doing well or not.
Throughout the year, Joyner remained unfazed by the trials of a rookie season, playing his game well both at bat and in the field, while also winning recognition as a leading representative of Angel baseball.
I'm a Wally Joyner fan. I think it's really good because he's so young, he's doing so well. You know, played in the All-Stars as a rookie and all. That just so young guys in my community can see that stuff like that can happen.
Dreams do come true, and Joyner went on to a dream season with 22 homers and 100 RBIs and getting the job done.
It's just a matter of when you get the spotlight, you have to realize what your responsibility is. And the way I live my life and the way I intend to live my life, it's no problem to be an inspiration or be a role model for younger players.
Just a youngster himself, Joyner will be an Angel influence for years to come, making his name synonymous with enjoyment both to fans and himself.
It's a lot of fun to be known as Wally Joyner right now.
July also marked the return of John Candelaria. And yes, after recovering from a painful elbow injury, the Candyman still could. Coming back from surgery, Candelaria won his first 3 decisions and 6 of his first 7, as he went on to record a 10-2 mark for the season, making a strong Angel pitching staff even stronger. The comeback of the Candyman coincided with the steady bombardment of Angel bats. After going 15-11 in July, the first-place Angels increased their margin by rolling off 19 wins in 29 August games. During the month of August, the high-flying Angels produced an average of better than 4.5 runs per game. Just as impressive, for the 7th time in 8 seasons, the Angels would better the 2 million attendance mark. In fact, they went on to lead the league with more than 2.5 million fans, and everybody had the feeling. The most wanted man throughout August was the American League Player of the Month, California's Doug DeCinces.
Base hit, and that'll end the ball game. And Joyner will just stroll in from third base, and the Angels win it 5-4.
When the heat was on in August, DeCinces delivered, batting .337 for the month with 9 homers and 25 RBIs, and 5 of those were game winners. In fact, DeCinces was a key component for the Angels throughout the entire second half. A veteran of more than 12 big league seasons, DeCinces' all-around play also represented a victory over pain that has become an everyday part of his major league playing life.
That's another thing I've had to overcome in my career, for the past 8 years is dealing with a bad back. But people have said, oh, I'll be done a long time ago, but those that have said I've been done a long time ago, I'm still here.
The company of Angels was strongly felt all season long, but it may have been most pronounced on the evening of August 29th in a game against the Detroit Tigers. Nothing was going right for California as the Tigers were circling the bases enough times to make the Angels dizzy. After 8 full innings, Detroit led 12-5, and the mood in the Tiger dugout was upbeat to say the least. But in the bottom of the ninth, Tiger prowess started to disappear as the Angels chipped and chipped away. Soon the score was 12-9, and before you knew it, the Angels had the bases loaded, and the Tigers had Willie Hernandez on the mound as the wheels turned.
The batter is Schofield, who started this inning with a base hit. And I'll tell you, he has some power. He has 11 home runs. Now, he just missed one early in this ball game.
I wasn't thinking home run, grand slam. I was just trying to get a base hit or, you know, any type of a bloop, whatever, to get a run and keep us going. But he threw the first pitch, breaking ball, strike one, and I said, uh-oh. And then he threw a screwball, which made it 0-2. I swung, it was in the dirt, and had a bad swing on it, and I kind of circled the plate, came around behind the umpire, and then I said, all right, just make contact.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. Tigers lead by 3.
On the next pitch, Schofield smashes a drive deep to left and gone. A grand slam, and the Angels win 13-12. Angel Miracle Magic had struck again.
All I need is a miracle. All I need is you. All I need is a miracle. All I need is a miracle. All I need is you. All I need is a miracle. All I need is a miracle. All I need is you.
You know, 12-5 in the 9th inning, you're ready to go home. You know, but they won.
They're never out of it. They're believers in themselves.
When in the 9th inning, when you're way behind, they come forward and do it.
This was truly a season of Angel Miracle Magic, with 25 come-from-behind wins at home, as Gene Mauch and company always refused to yield. And clearly throughout the year, the 9th inning belonged to the Angels.
There's a fly ball to right. Gibson back at the fence. It's gone! A 2-run homer by DeCences, and this ball game is over. And the Angels have the magic going for them this year.
Fly ball hit to right field, fairly deep, moving back Henderson to the warning track. Makes a leap, it's over. Jack Howell's solo home run wins it for California by a score of 4-3.
High fly ball to deep left field. This one is gone. Ryan Downing will take the tour. And the Angels have come back to take the win.
As the Angels moved into September, they were 5.5 games in first place, moving relentlessly toward a divisional title. On September 26th, the scene was set, and as circumstance would have it, a victory against Texas would clinch the West, as Gene Mauch knew the time had come.
Tonight we're gonna make it happen. Tonight we'll put all other things aside. Give in this time and show me some affection. We're going for those pleasures in the night. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. And I know I want you. We shouldn't even think about tomorrow. Sweet memories will last a long, long time. Let's get excited. We just can't.
For the third time in club history, the California Angels were divisional champs of the American League West, and feelings of accomplishment and pride filled the post-game clubhouse of Autry's Angels.
This is outstanding. This is what it's all about.
A lot of people didn't think we were going to be even close to the top. You know, with a lot of breaks, a lot of great games come from behind. We played good enough to win this league, and we did win it.
And it comes from knowing how to go about your job, knowing how to win.
And that could be described in one word.
Great.
And there were great expectations as the Angels traveled to Boston's Fenway Park for the championship series with the Red Sox. In Game 1, the Sox sent 24-4 Roger Clemens to the mound, but California was armed and ready. It didn't take long for the Angels to get rolling. In the second inning, California capped the rally as Brian Downing took a poke at the Green Monster and sent a pair of runs scampering home to put the Angels ahead 4-0. That was more than enough for Mike Witt, who pitched no-hit ball through 5 2/3 innings and stayed in command the entire way for an 8-1 opening victory. And following Game 2, the Angels would return to California with a split. In Game 3, Boston's flamboyant right-hander Oil Can Boyd was punctured by unexpected sources. Dick Schofield connected for a solo home run in the 7th, and that was soon followed by another blow from one of the series' hottest hitters, Gary Pettis.
The 2-1 delivery is swung on, hit well to right. Back goes Evans. See you later. Gary Pettis makes it a 4-1 game.
The Angels went on to victory and looked for the same the next night against Boston's Roger Clemens. But on this occasion, Clemens kept the Angels handcuffed through 8. But in the ninth, trailing 3-0, Gene Mauch's crew responded. Doug DeCinces led the inning off with a homer, and with 1 out, hope was very much alive. DeCinces' blast was followed by back-to-back singles, and Boston went to the bullpen for Calvin Schiraldi. Up came Gary Pettis, and his smash to left was more than Jim Rice could handle as another run dashed home. The Angels now trailed by 1, and following an intentional pass and a strikeout, the magic was in the air with the bases loaded, 2 out, and Brian Downing at the plate.
The Angels trying to come up with a dramatic 9th-inning rally. Hits him! It hits him with the bases loaded! And we're tied 3-3!
Rallying for 3 in the 9th, the Angels sent the game into extra innings. And with a miracle feeling in the air, Jerry Narron stood on second in the bottom of the 11th with the game still tied, and Bobby Grich looking to break through against Schiraldi.
Line drive base hit on the left field line. Narron to third. He's coming home, and the Angels win it. Bobby Grich is the hero. And there's bedlam in Anaheim.
Now the Angels led the championship series 3-1, 1 game away from the pennant. And the next day, the sun was shining so brightly, and it looked like Bobby Grich might once again be a hero when his incredible homer fell in to put California ahead. A magical moment, but little did anyone realize that the Angels would soon run out of miracles in 1986. No, the Angels didn't win a pennant, but they played like winners every step of the way. And the reason for that was all the support that came from the friends at home.
Hello, friends. This is Gene Autry. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank all of you great Angel fans for the way you have supported the 1986 team. You've been wonderful.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down a road and back again. My hat is off. Won't you stand up and take a bow?
Hello there, everybody. This is Mel Allen. The 1986 baseball season was filled with determination and drama, with great plays and gutsy players, with heroic highs and heartbreaking lows. And like every other season, 1986 proved that it's not over till it's over. Right, Yogi?
We don't call the shots here. Don't make the rules. We take what we get what we can. It's learning the hard way. Here on the street, you can't build a dream without a plan.
This year in baseball, the story of the 1986 season. First, let's review the American League East, where the Red Sox rolled to the top. Boston blasted off right, thanks to Dwight Evans.
We are ready for the first pitch of the 86 season, and here it is. Long drive, left center field. Way back. Gone. Home run, Dwight Evans.
Hey, what a way to start the season. A positive sign of things to come for the surprising Red Sox in '86. And everything stayed positive, with fireballing Roger Clemens posting a 24-4 mark. Included among his Cy Young credentials was a late April outing against Seattle that put Clemens into the record books.
A new record. Clemens has set a major league record for strikeouts in a game. 20.
Another positive sign was Don Baylor, who time and again pulled up the Sox.
There goes a long shot to left field. Home run. Don Baylor, grand slam.
At the plate, the Sox were as strong as ever, but the big difference was pitching. In addition to Clemens, Oil Can Boyd and Bruce Hurst led a staff that compiled the league's third-best ERA. And a much-improved bullpen had 11 more saves than in 1985. On offense, Wade Boggs batted .357 to capture his third league batting title in 4 years, and he banged out at least 200 hits for the fourth straight season.
I'm not so sure that man couldn't get a hit if they turned the lights out in here.
Also lighting it up was Jim Rice, who batted .324 with 20 homers and 110 RBIs. Now, with performances like that, the Sox held on to first place since mid-May and then pulled out of reach in September, winning 20 out of 27 to raise their first division flag in 11 years.
The high pop-up. Buckner is there. It's all over. The Red Sox are the new division champion.
In Toronto, Jimmy Williams took over as manager from the departed Bobby Cox, but the 1985 division winners fell victim to misery on the mound and finished third. Most outstanding was the Blue Jays' performance at the plate. Power broker George Bell did a booming business in '86, blasting 31 home runs, batting .309, and tying a team record with 108 RBIs. Teammate Jesse Barfield was the biggest boomer, belting 40 home runs that not only set a new team record, but led the major leagues. In New York, Lou Piniella took over as manager and guided the Yankees to 90 wins for the fifth best record in the majors, despite having to juggle an erratic pitching staff all season long. The Yankees' offense was led by Don Mattingly, who became only the sixth player ever and first since 1937 to collect at least 30 homers, 100 RBIs, and 230 hits in one season. Teammate Dave Winfield was also in the swing, becoming the only active player in the majors to drive in 100 runs 5 straight seasons. Reliever Dave Righetti entered the record books with 46 saves in '86, breaking the old mark of 45 saves in a season, shared by Bruce Sutter and Dan Quisenberry. In Detroit, Jack Morris remained the Major League's winningest pitcher in the '80s. A career-high 21 wins in '86 raised his total to 123 for the decade. And get this, the Tigers became only the second team ever with all 4 infielders hitting at least 20 homers in the same season. In Cleveland, an Indian uprising in '86. After losing 102 games in '85, the Tribe turned it around to finish 84 and 78. Rookie Corey Snyder provided plenty of punch for a team that led the majors in batting average and runs scored. But the man who really pumped up the Indians was Joe Carter. Credit him with 200 hits and a Major League leading 121 RBIs to help give Cleveland a whole new perspective. In Milwaukee, popular manager George Bamberger retired near season's end, and against Baltimore in Bambi's last game, he got a grand going-away present from Teddy Higuera, who became the league's only left-hander in '86 and third pitcher in Brewer history to win 20 games. On offense, Rob Deere slammed 33 homers to tie for 4th in the league. In Baltimore, legendary Earl Weaver retired after his first losing season as a big league manager. Injuries to the likes of Eddie Murray kept the Orioles grounded as they finished in last place for the first time ever in Baltimore. On the bright side, Don Ossie spelled relief with 34 saves, second in the league, and finished with an ERA below 3. Next up, the American League West and a California coronation. Bobby Grich got the Angels going in '86, just as Dwight Evans did for Boston, cracking a home run in Seattle on the very first pitch of the season. Wally Joyner replaced Rod Carew at first base and turned Anaheim Stadium into Wally World. At the All-Star break, Joyner had 20 homers and 72 RBIs, becoming the first rookie ever voted to start in the Midsummer Classic. Manager Gene Mauch also called on top-flight pitching. Mike Witt won 18 games and struck out 208 batters with a 2.84 ERA, as the Angels boasted the second-best ERA in the league. Veteran Don Sutton provided 15 wins, and despite part-time service, John Candelaria went 8-2. What's more, with 17 wins from second-year man Kirk McCaskill, the Angels had 3 15-game winners for the first time in team history. Also plenty to cheer about in Texas, where the Rangers improved 25 games over the previous season. Manager Bobby Valentine led the club from a last-place finish in '85 to second place in '86.
I'm proud of the way guys played. They played with really good intensity and haven't been intimidated at all, keep working hard, and that's the formula for success.
Valentine relied on a tried-and-true formula for the pitching, with veteran Charlie Huff, who led the team with 17 wins. As for the untested babes of the staff, Bobby Witt jumped from Double-A ball to the majors and won 11 games, while rookie Ed Correa won 12 to provide further evidence that Ranger pitching is on the rise. Texas Mercury rose especially high at the plate, where Pete O'Brien contributed 21 homers and 89 RBIs. Scott Fletcher hit an even 300, and rookie Pete Incaviglia hammered 29 homers. But the young Rangers finally fell to the Angels in the division-clinching game at Anaheim in late September.
The pitch, it's all over. The magic number is 0.
California's third division crown in 8 years. In Kansas City, the Royals slumped badly after dramatically winning it all in '85. Manager Dick Hauser led the American League to victory in the '86 All-Star game, but soon after came the tragic news that Hauser had a brain tumor. '85 Cy Young winner Brett Saberhagen symbolized KC's '86 pitching problems, winning only 7 games. Bo Jackson aroused future hope after being called up in late September. The '85 Heisman Trophy winner blasted the longest home run ever hit at Royal Stadium. In Oakland, rookie Jose Canseco brightened an otherwise disappointing season by smacking 33 homers and finishing second in the league with 117 RBIs. Joe Cowley gave the Chicago White Sox a shining moment in a troublesome season with a no-hitter against California. Only his 6th complete game, by the way, in the majors. In Minnesota, Kirby Puckett turned in a season most players only dream about. 31 homers, a .328 average, and 223 hits. On the mound, Bert Blyleven became the 10th pitcher ever with 3,000 career strikeouts, but he also gave up 50 home runs to set a single-season record. In Seattle, Dick Williams was hired as manager but couldn't steer the Mariners ship out of the cellar. Promising rookie Danny Tartabull found smooth sailing, though, with 25 homers and 96 RBIs. Now, a review of the National League East, where the Mets were masters. New York won the division by 21.5 games with 108 victories, tying for most wins in the league since 1909. In April, a win against '85 division winners St. Louis got the Mets going. Down by 2 in the ninth, Howard Johnson batted.
The Mets need a long ball.
They might have it. This ball is out of here, and this game is tied. Oh, my goodness. So much for fate.
The Mets won 4 straight from St. Louis and never looked back, thanks in part to a pitching quartet that led the majors in ERA. Dwight Gooden combined with former Red Soxer Bob Ojeda for 35 victories. As for the bullpen, manager Davey Johnson found a savior in Roger McDowell, who collected 21 saves and 14 wins. But New York's runaway train could not have rolled without Gary Carter with 105 RBIs, Keith Hernandez with a Gold Glove and a .310 average, and Darryl Strawberry with 27 homers. Such were the mighty, mighty Mets.
Fair ball! The Mets will win it. It's 6-5 New York. Grand slam home run! Tim Teufel. This ball game is over, and I don't believe it. They are right now the dominant team in this game, in either league.
With the Mets making a mockery out of any division race in '86, the other teams in the East were forced to take their comfort in individual accomplishments. In St. Louis, Cardinal speedster Vince Coleman stayed on the run by becoming only the second player ever to steal 100 bases 2 straight years, while reliever Todd Worrell led the league with 36 saves, setting a new record for saves in a season by a rookie. In Philadelphia, Mike Schmidt led the Phillies to a second-place finish with 37 homers and 119 RBIs, both tops in the league. Von Hayes contributed a league-leading 46 doubles and scored 107 runs. In Montreal, Tim Raines continued to shine, winning the league batting crown with a .334 average and ranking 3rd in steals with 70, giving him 6 straight years of at least that many. Shortstop Sean Dunston helped soften the Blues in Chicago with 17 home runs, and he added a dazzling dose of flair in the field.
Sean, a great stop, long throw, got him! I can't believe it, he got him!
In Pittsburgh, Rick Rhoden turned in a strong season with 15 wins and the league's 4th best ERA. While on offense, Pirate fans found promise in rookie Barry Bonds, who blasted 16 homers and stole 36 bases in 113 games. Now, the National League West and the out-of-sight Astros. First-year manager Hal Lanier made Houston the most surprising team in the league with a strong transfusion of spirit. But of course, great pitching did help. Mike Scott won 18 games, and he led the league in ERA and became the 4th pitcher in league history to strike out 300 in a season. Nolan Ryan spruced up his all-time strikeout lead by setting down 194 in '86, while winning 12 games despite an injury-shortened season. Bob Nepper won 17 games to set a team record for lefties, and a modern Major League record was set by rookie Jim Deshaies when he struck out 8 Dodgers to start a game. Pitching was the key for a Houston team that gave up the fewest hits in the majors while posting the 2nd-best ERA. On offense, the main man was Glenn Davis, who drove in 101 runs and hammered 31 homers. First Astro to hit 30 in one season since Jimmy Wynn way back in 1969. Kevin Bass played a key role by batting .311 with 20 homers, 79 RBIs, and 22 stolen bases. Fact is, the Never Say Die Astros came from behind to win 39 games.
Smash, fair ball! Astros win! Astros win! Astros win again! If you haven't gotten excited yet about this 1986 Houston Astros baseball team, I don't know what it takes.
Well, how about a no-hitter to clinch it?
Now the hitter is Will Clark. He's 0 for 3. Swinging a bouncer. This could be it. Davis runs to the bag. Game is over. No-hitter. Astros win the championship. What a way to do it. Mike Scott has just thrown his first career no-hitter, and the Astros are the National League's champions of the West.
forgot, what a way to clinch. In San Francisco, manager Roger Craig kept the Giants in the race until September in his first full season. Changing their tune from last place the previous season, the Giants won 83 games. Quite a turnaround for a team that lost 185 and wasn't expected to do much. But at the All-Star break, the Giants were atop the West, and all season long they found novel ways to play the game.
Right back to the mound. Good stab by Mulholland. Runs most of the throw. What?
So you think you've seen everything in this game, huh?
With rookie first baseman Will Clark providing plenty of spark, the Giants displayed one of the game's most promising young infields. All-star Chris Brown hit .317 in his second season, and second baseman Robbie Thompson led all league rookies in hits and runs scored. Candy Maldonado was powerful in the pinch, providing a team-high 85 RBIs despite part-time service. On the mound, Mike Krukow gave the Giants their first 20-game winner in 13 years. Little wonder San Francisco took a giant leap forward. In Los Angeles, Pedro Guerrero was out for most of the year, and the Dodgers never came close to repeating as division champs. But Steve Sax had a standout season, batting .332 with 210 hits. On the mound, Fernando Valenzuela sparkled, leading the league in both wins with 21 and complete games with 20. Under player-manager Pete Rose, the Cincinnati Reds got out of the gate poorly, losing 22 out of their first 32 games. But from mid-May on, they played the best ball in the division to finish a strong second. Dave Parker was the key to Cincinnati's resurgence, blasting 31 homers and finishing second in the league with 116 RBIs. An outstanding contribution also came from Eric Davis, who emerged as a major offensive force with 27 homers, 71 RBIs, a .277 average, and 80 stolen bases. Eternal optimist Chuck Tanner took over as manager in Atlanta, but even Tanner's enthusiasm couldn't rally the Braves. Still, Bob Horner provided a memorable highlight when he belted 4 home runs in a game against Montreal, the 11th player in big league history to hit 4 home runs in one game. In San Diego, Tony Gwynn was rock solid amid much turbulence. Only the 5th player since 1900 to steal 5 bases in one game. And he led the league in hits, too, and runs scored. Fans also made news in 1986, setting a new attendance record of 47.5 million. What's more, for the first time in Major League history, every team drew at least 1 million. How about that? The '86 season also had its share of individual milestones. California's Don Sutton made history against Texas in mid-June, becoming the 19th pitcher ever to win 300 games. At age 41, Sutton entered the Magic Circle in his 21st season.
I know that I'm not spectacular. I know that I'm not flamboyant. I know that I am not a dominating pitcher, but I've worked very hard at my trade. I've worked very hard at staying in shape, and I've worked very hard at staying a good ball player.
Steve Carlton was on the mound for San Francisco when he made history in the game against Cincinnati.
Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. At 8:30 Pacific Daylight Time on August the 5th, 1986, Steve Carlton registered his 4,000th Major League strikeout.
Philadelphia reliever Kent Tekulve came on to wrap up a victory against his former Pittsburgh Pirates and in the process set a National League record for appearances by a pitcher. Tekulve broke the old mark of 846 set by Elroy Face. California's Reggie Jackson kept climbing in the record books, passing Hall of Famer Mickey Mantle to move into 6th place on the all-time home run list. Jackson finished the season with 548 career homers, 25 shy of number 5 all-time Harmon Killebrew. Cincinnati's Tony Perez retired after 22 seasons, ranking 14th all-time in RBIs and tied for 25th in homers with 379. On to the American League Championship Series, Boston and California. It began at Boston's fabled Fenway Park, and in Game 1, California's Mike Witt was masterful. A complete Game 5 hitter and an 8-1 victory. But next day, Bruce Hurst got Boston even, going all the way, winning 9-2. On to California for Game 3, where the Angels took the lead again with a 5-3 victory. In Game 4, Boston ace Roger Clemens was cruising with a 3-0 lead going into the bottom of the ninth, but Doug DeCinces led off with a home run, and after 2 more base hits, Clemens was relieved by Calvin Schiraldi. The Angels scored again and then loaded the bases with 2 outs when Schiraldi hit Brian Downing with a pitch to force home the tying run. It stayed 3-all until the last of the 11th when Bobby Grich drove home the winning run, handing the Red Sox a heartbreaking loss and the Angels a 3-1 lead in the series. Game 5 was pure melodrama. In the 6th inning, Grich ended up with a home run when Dave Henderson couldn't hang on, and that gave the Angels the lead. Then in the 9th, Boston down by 3, but with 1 out, Don Baylor blasted a 2-run homer to pull the Red Sox within 1. Donnie Moore came on in relief, and with 2 outs and a man on base, Dave Henderson was batting, and he had 2 strikes on him. Moore's reaction tells the story. The Angels 1 strike away from the pennant, but Henderson's homer gave the Sox a 1-run lead. California came back to tie the game in the last of the 9th, but in the 11th, Henderson came through again with a sacrifice fly that brought home the game winner, and the Sox were still alive. Back to Boston for Game 6, where the Red Sox racked up 16 hits and rolled to a 10-4 victory that squared the series at 3 games apiece to set up a decisive 7th game. This time, Roger Clemens would not be denied, and the Boston batters gave him plenty of support. Calvin Schiraldi came on to close it out as the Red Sox completed one of the most compelling comebacks in playoff history. Now, the National League Championship Series, New York and Houston. The series opened at Houston's Astrodome, and in Game 1, pitcher Mike Scott was astronomical, tying a playoff record with 14 strikeouts, going all the way on a 5-hit shutout, while Glenn Davis gave the Astros the only run of the game with a 2nd-inning homer. But Bob Ojeda brought the Mets right back in Game 2, going all the way in a 5-1 win. The scene shifted to Shea Stadium for Game 3, where Bill Doran's 2-run homer put Houston ahead 4-0 after 2 innings. But the Mets got a run before Darryl Strawberry tied the game with a 3-run blast in the 6th. Houston scored once more, but Wally Backman was on base in the bottom of the 9th when Lenny Dykstra unloaded a long ball to give New York a dramatic 6-5 win and a 2-1 lead in the series. But next day, Mike Scott mastered the Mets again on a complete Game 3 hitter to square the series once more. Game 5 featured a towering pitching matchup. For New York, young Dwight Gooden. For the Astros, veteran Nolan Ryan, who outpitched his opponent but left after 9 with the score tied at 1. Gary Carter drove home the game winner in the bottom of the 12th, and the Mets were 1 victory away from the pennant. Back to the Astrodome for a wild Game 6. Bob Nepper was sailing along with a 3-0 lead into the 9th inning. But then the Mets rallied to tie the game and send it into extra innings. It stayed that way until the 14th, when the Mets took a one-run lead. But the astounding Astros came right back to tie it again on Billy Hatcher's home run with one out in the bottom of the inning. On it went into the 16th inning. Without doubt, one of the most heart-stopping games ever. New York scored 3 runs, but Houston answered with 2, and Jesse Orosco was on the mound with 2 Astros aboard, 2 outs, and Kevin Bass at the plate. And that was it, a fantastic finish to a spectacular series. And so the World Series came down to New York against Boston. The series began at Shea Stadium, where Boston starter Bruce Hurst held off the Mets in Game 1 as the Red Sox waltzed away with a 1-0 victory. In Game 2, Dave Henderson homered, and the Red Sox exploded for 18 hits to win easily 9-3. Boston fans were feeling mighty fine as the scene shifted to Fenway, but Bob Ojeda kept the Sox down as New York won it 7-1. Gary Carter got cracking in Game 4 with a pair of homers, propelling the Mets to a 6-2 victory that squared the series. But in Game 5, Bruce Hurst came back to beat the Mets once again, going all the way as Boston took it 4-2. The series soared to stunning heights back in New York for Game 6. With the score tied at 3 in the 10th, Dave Henderson delivered a home run, and the Sox scored again to go up by 2 and put them just 3 outs away from a championship. But after getting 2 outs, Calvin Schiraldi gave up 3 straight singles as the Mets narrowed the gap to 1 run. Bob Stanley came on for Boston, and with the bases loaded and 2 strikes on Mookie Wilson, Stanley uncorked a wild pitch that allowed the tying run to score. Wilson then hit a grounder to first, but Bill Buckner's error brought the winning run home, and the Mets had a miraculous reprieve. Game 7, score tied at 3 when Calvin Schiraldi surrendered a home run to Ray Knight in the 7th inning. It proved to be the game winner, and when it was all over, Knight was named Series MVP with a .391 average. Jesse Orosco came on to save the 8-5 victory to send New York into a wild celebration as 1986 became the year of the Mets.